Estate agents often find it very challenging to sell some of their properties. You can imagine with the cost of our daily lives at the moment how much harder it's become. So here's what's happened. Experts in the digital and the property sector, well, they've teamed up. They've become buddy-buddy to assist the companies to expand their reach on social media, which is where we all live anyway, while focusing on their targeted audience. The idea is to assist buyers and sellers and also provide information on bond applications. We know with interest rates at the moment how important that is. Well, let's bring in an expert on this. The co-founder of Flow is Daniel Levy. He's made time for me this afternoon. Daniel, good to have you on ENCA. Appreciate the time. Allow us to start here if we can. What is Flow? Because basically what I understand is you found a problem and you've solved it. What was the problem? How did you solve it? Daniel, you're with me. Go ahead. Tell me about Flow.
Thanks for having me. I hope that the connect. Yes. Great, Joe. Thanks for having me. I hope the connection's sound. Flow is a PropTech ad tech solution. My background is an ad tech entrepreneur. I've been 20 years in this game. We were Facebook's partner in Africa a good 15 years ago, my partner and I. The opportunity that we found over here is typically, properties are put on property portals. That's what portals are known for. The problem, however, is that agents are in and amongst all their competition. People go to property portals, obviously, with high intent, but equally people spend most of their time on social platforms. So our technology enables property people, agents, developers, and that like, to put their properties on an omni-channel, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, Google, where people are and spend most of their time. We do often say to ourselves, we're the guys that take the property to the people, as opposed to waiting for the people to come to the property.
I suppose you could be solving two things at that point. One is you've got the active and the passive participants in the property sector. Active means I'm going to go to one of those property portals. Passive means I'm just scrolling through my Facebook page. I might not be aware of a property in my price range in an area, and you're serving it to me, aren't you?
Yes, I think the one beauty about social networks is they're powered by... you there?
I am. Go ahead, Daniel. Yes, still here. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. Social platforms are powered by very sophisticated algorithms, which are mathematical equations that are designed to find people and obviously serve people the content that they click on and that they want to click more of. So to that end, even though you could be browsing what we call it in a discovery phase on a social platform, the data that's behind it, i.e. what Facebook, Instagram know about you and what you like to consume, they know and understand where your mobile device is and various other actual points that you actually converse with on a daily basis. All those little touch points enable us to actually hone in on you with a particular desire of things that are relevant to you. And once you start to click on that journey, so you start going down a rabbit hole of things that have become more relevant, and it's all tagging you along the way. So it's a data play that manifests initially within a social environment, and again, once you go down that funnel, it all becomes more relevant.
Yeah, and I imagine then what that does for the consumer is I'm getting content that's more relevant to me. I'm more likely to engage with it. Help me understand, Daniel, the other side of the coin, the other side of this business. How do you use this for clients, your property clients? What do they do with this data?
Yeah, so good question. So I always like to say, an estate agent who wakes up on a Monday morning and hasn't sold the property needs to think of other ways in which to do so. So again, I mentioned portals as one of the avenues. Developers pre-COVID would hand out flyers at robots and things of that nature. Social media, I've explained why that's very important, but ultimately people want sales, right? And if properties within South Africa are tending to, in terms of new builds, between the prices of, say, 900K to 1.22 million rand, invariably everybody's competing for the same wallet, right? So a developer needs to stick out. That would range to product, price, location, and various other things. So ultimately, platforms of this nature need to ensure that you as developer A bubble to the top over and above developer B at any given point in time. So this tech is essentially enabling that.
Yeah, it's the ADD generation. Our eyeballs are everywhere, multiple screens, multiple platforms. How do you stand out in a case like that as well? So give me the success rate. What's your ROIs been like? What's the client return, the customer return been since you've started doing this? Are you seeing a very significant difference between, let's call it, the ordinary property sites and how you're doing it? Is it working for you and your clients?
So yeah, I think it's I'll answer the question a different way. So we don't advocate that clients shouldn't be on a property portal. Obviously, they've built up significant brands and people resonate with the property portal as a place to start. What we do advocate, however, is not a binary exercise. In other words, you need an omni-channel way to marketing. You'd be on a portal, social, website, etc., etc. So to that end, anyone who we deal with in the property sector, we try and get them as close to the coalface as possible. So what that means is dealing with data, right? So we've done a deal with ooba, home loan bond originators. You could argue that they're closer to the coalface of a property transaction, somebody clicking on a bond calculator or having gone through a bond process. We're able to retarget these people, meaning that, I'll use an example of Takealot, for example. If you've gone and tried to buy your child a Lego, and you don't, next thing the Lego starts following you around the internet. Equally, in this instance, we target people who have clicked on property and we will retarget them, i.e. it becomes more relevant. People need to see things at a certain frequency before they do something about it. So long story short is our clients we put closer to the coalface. We're the horse to water technology, as I like to say, but ultimately an agent needs to go and do the sell. And yes, I always test clients that are recurring business as a good sign of success that we're actually achieving that through our technology.
I made the fatal mistake a couple of days ago of Googling a gas braai, and that's all I'm getting served on every digital platform that I exist on at the moment. I don't need one anymore. I've got one. Leave me alone. I don't need a gas braai anymore. Daniel, so I'm just curious.
That's a different problem, exactly.
It's a different problem to have. These are problems we deal with. I'm curious, though, with it being so digital, I'm guessing mobile friendly as well, because that's where we live on social. There is a niche, not a niche, it's a big market, but there is only a certain percentage of our population that really lives on social media. You still have that generation that uses the phone to check their email and to make phone calls. You could be missing out on a big market, isn't it?
Again, it comes down to an omni-channel way of marketing, right? So invariably, you're trying to get to various touch points where people consume stuff. You know, one could argue that TV advertising has decreased over time. The point being over here is that a significant portion of the population's on social. I mean, that's been the case for the last 20-odd years, in excess of 30 million people in South Africa, and now on various different channels on social. So you need to try and ensure that you're on a few in order to get the maximum output.
Yeah, it's almost a spray and pray concept as well. In the good old days, they used to say it wouldn't work, spray and pray. I'd argue it does. Be everywhere all the time, and something will land. Daniel, thank you very, very much. Fascinating how they've brought the two together, especially with how much work is going into property marketing these days. You want to make sure that you are where your audience is, and co-founder of Flow, Daniel Levy, telling us exactly how it is you're supposed to do that.